My name is Abdul Malik Mujahid. I'm president of Justice for All as a volunteer president. It's the largest human rights organization of Muslims in America and Canada. And on behalf of Muslim community in America, I'm visiting Turkey. So Muslims are aware of the challenges Muslim minorities faced around the world. And some minorities are small, like Uyghurs are 4 or 5 million people, as Muslim in Central African Republic are 4 or 5 million people. Some are bigger, like Palestine, Kashmir, Uyghurs, they're about 15 million people. But one of the largest minority of Muslims lives in India, 200 million of them, and they are now facing genocide. So I'm here to communicate with leaders, educationists, journalists, so they understand the type of challenges Muslim Ummah who lives as minority is facing.
For the Turkish audience, can you please tell us some of the things that Modi regime is currently doing in India against the Muslims?
Modi regime is part of a fascist movement called RSS. They follow Hitler, they praise Nazis, and they came into being more or less the same time in early last century. Modi came into power because he murdered and massacred, committed a pogrom of Muslim in the Gujarat state where he was a chief minister. Because of that, people came to realize he's a very powerful man. He can kill Muslims. So they elected him as a prime minister. What they want to do became clear 2 years ago when there was a parliament called Hindu Parliament. In their language, Dharma Sanasad. And it has all the Hindu leaders, preachers and priests present, and they announced that they are looking for Hindu suicide bombers. And if anyone can come up with Hindu suicide bombers, they will pay millions of rupees to them. Why? Because they want to kill millions of Muslims in India. Why? So either they become Hindus or leave the country. This is not a secret thing. These are well-known people. It is available on YouTube. It is reported by the media, but nothing happened to that person or anyone who was present in the parliament. And they just go around doing this similar parliament in different cities, and they're free to do that. This is happening because Modi himself is a murderer. He believes in fascism, and his party RSS is actually responsible for killing Gandhi.
In one India proverb, it says like the one who holds power is able to do whatever wishes. So what do you want to say about like this ideology that Hindu has and the Modi's party is trying to do achieve this? Like what's their ideology and what they want to achieve?
They want to achieve Hindu Rashtra, which means Hindu-only country. Now the difficulty for them is that there are all sort of people in India. India has never been one country. It was Muslims, Mughal, who brought into as a country, then British India kept as a country. Otherwise it will be set of multiple people, multiple nations and multiple countries. They want it to be Hindu Rashtra. And they consider Muslims are hindrance because Muslims are the largest minority in India. So they have come up with multiple schemes. Either through the Hindu parliament, they will create propaganda. Second in command of the government of India is Amit Shah. Amit Shah says, we can make anything go viral, whether it's a truth or it's a lie. And they're able to do that. So because of this propaganda against Islam and Muslims get beaten up. and sometimes Muslims try to look like Hindus in dress or something. So what they do is on the street, a small mob will come together. They will ask a Muslim to undress. So if a Muslim is circumcised or sunnat, then they will murder him or hang him from the tree. So this goes on throughout the country. And many Muslims are died. And when some place Muslim acquire some power, like economic power, little bit better, then they have attacks on them. They call them riot. And then tens of thousands of them are murdered. They're making life difficult. For example, you will be surprised that Muslim women in India are more literate than Hindu women. But when it comes to job, Muslim men and women together and only 1% of jobs, while they're 15% of the population. So I was in a think tank in India. I was coming out of the think tank when someone asked me that executive director would like to meet you. And when I went to meet the executive director of that think tank in India, he tells me one thing: your next generation is going to be thieves of smugglers. And when I looked at him, he looked at me, he didn't say anything else. I said, thank you, and I left. Outside, when I met a Muslim, I told him what this guy was saying, a think tank leader in India. He said, and that person was a Muslim, and he said that he is saying right thing. I said, what do you mean he's saying right thing? He said, we are 7 brothers and sisters. All of us have master's degree, and none of us can find a job. So there was a tremendous discrimination, but now as stage of genocide, first you dehumanize people, then you come up with laws. There are laws in India, for example, they call them land jihad laws, meaning if Muslim is buying a property or Muslim is building a masjid, they call it a land jihad. And most of the time, they are the ones who are doing this. For example, Muslims have hundreds and thousands of waqfs, which is not a Muslim control. Hindu control it or the government controls it. For example, Dalai Lama's headquarters, Indian government has given a waqf masjid as a headquarters of Dalai Lama. So they are grabbing Muslim property, but they accuse Muslim of quote-unquote land jihad. Similarly, they go around marrying Muslim girls, but then they accuse Muslims of marrying Hindu girls. They call it love jihad. And now there are laws in India against love jihad. Muslims rarely eat beef, but they're accused of eating beef, even if they're in dairy farming or taking cows for milk, and they just kill them. So there is a dehumanization of Muslims, attacks on Muslims, denying the job opportunities. Just election took place yesterday at the United Kingdom. UK has only 4 million Muslims, but 19 Muslims were elected to the parliament. India doesn't have 4 million Muslims. India has 200 million Muslims, but only 24 people in the parliament. And nobody thinks Muslims or anything like that. So life is becoming almost impossible for Muslims in India. But people don't know this. Why they don't know? Because Modi does not want people to know. So what is he doing about it? He's killing and murdering journalists. He expelled Amnesty International. He brought cases against the most famous Indian author, Arundhati Roy. She's most famous in the world, most translated in the world. Now she will be tried under terrorism charges. BBC produced a documentary on what Modi did in Gujarat. That documentary was banned in India. What type of democracy is that? Although the documentary I saw, it is not very good. But that documentary was banned. And not only documentary was banned, immediately Indian government raided the offices of BBC. That's the reason world doesn't know what is happening to India. And that is the reason that Reporters Without Borders have rated India, the largest so-called democracy in the world, below Afghanistan, Somalia, and Colombia in terms of freedom of press.
So, as you have mentioned about this, it's like scapegoating that attacks the Muslims by the Hindus. Hindus in the same time are publishing these things on the social media. And in the same time, for the incidents starts in Palestine, like the genocide by Israel, we are seeing that most of the Hindus are supporting Israel. And they are doing this collectively. So he wanted to learn how they get there so easily and how they are moving collectively regarding these things. Also, she added that there were some Hindus who wanted to be part of Israeli army to fight against the Muslims. So
once you create a hate, people go blind. Muslims have ruled India 900 years. And India is still a Hindu majority country. It tells you that Muslims did not impose anything on anyone. They were very tolerant. They practiced their faith, and most of the people working with them were Hindus. And it was a common knowledge that rarely there will be fight between Muslims and Hindus. Then came British. British took power away from Muslims, and they made intentionally Hindus in all the services and jobs and everywhere, and kicked out Muslims. Changed the language of instruction, language of education. So Muslims started becoming underdog, and they didn't have much. And that was the reason, about 75 years ago, Muslims of India said, okay, they're making our life miserable, want to create a separate country, and Pakistan came into being. Exactly the same situation why Pakistan was created. Then after Pakistan was created, they kept discriminating and discriminating. And finally, this RSS, Killers of Gandhi, came into power. And they started doing similar type of things. But then they moved towards the genocidal policy. So who are the master genociders against Muslims? Well, Spain. Not today's Spain, historic Spain. How they eliminated Muslims. So they sent people there to learn how they got rid of Muslims. Same thing Modi and company did. They sent people to learn from Israel how they are dealing with Palestinians. Now they are copying the same thing. If Israelis are dehumanizing Palestinians, India is dehumanizing Muslims in India. If Palestinians protest, they demolish their houses. India is demolishing houses of Muslims. Israel has demolished close to 300 masjids. India has demolished more than 3,000 masjids, including historic masjid called Babri Masjid. So they, in social media, world is against Israel. The only people supporting Israel in social media are Indians. They are good in IT, and they're using all their power in that. And this is a fact which has been recorded, that to replace Palestinian laborers, Israel have imported Indian laborers. It is also a fact that many Indian work for Israeli military, and they have published their photos of attacking and all that. So enemy of my enemy is my friend is an old saying. Hatred of Muslim is uniting them.
As someone who knows the conditions very well, and also a person of the media himself, he wanted to learn that, like especially with the Bollywood, there are lots of movies and series produced in India, and we even in Turkey have like Indian series. So with these series and with everything that they are doing, they are showing India as a peaceful country and everything that is like going well. Everyone is happy, everything is going well. So what would you like to say about this propaganda? Türk halkı filmleri görüyor ve sempatik buluyor. Yeah, Turkish people are watching Indian movies or series and they're like having some sort of sympathy towards India. But it is kind of far from the reality post the incident. So what can you say about this problem?
It's a very important point, a question which you have raised. Indian government invests in creating an image based on lies. For example, around the world, they go building a statue of Gandhi. In India, nobody cares for Gandhi. These are killers of Gandhi on the power. Throughout the world, they have photos of Taj Mahal. But now their Taj Mahal complex is a masjid. Muslims are not allowed to pray there any longer. Taj Mahal, they're saying actually is Tijo Mela, a temple of Hindus. Although Taj Mahal was built by a Muslim Turk and its architect was also a Turkish person. But they will not tell you that, inside India is different, outside is different. Similarly, in movies, if you research Indian movies, Muslims are depicted as thieves, smugglers, killers, people who kill for money. That's how Indian film depicts Muslims. But then they have 3-4 Muslim sounding name heroes. Salman Khan and Shah Rukh Khan and Amir Khan and this Khan and that Khan, because everybody knows Khan has to be Muslim. But these people, either their mothers are Hindus or their girlfriend is a Hindu. In their home, there are Hindu idols which they give interview and they worship them. So and why they are tolerated? Because this is exactly what Modi and company want. Muslims to worship Hindu gods, Muslim become Hindu. They have said openly many times, they want Muslim, we have no problem, as long as you just become like us, Hindus. So these quote-unquote Muslim heroes actually are not the ideal of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are the people who are following Shaitan, daily worshipping shirk. And if Turkey is watching that, it's very sad. I was devastated because as soon as I arrived in my hotel in this trip of Turkey, I opened my television and all I see on my television is an Indian movie being shown. I'll show it to you. And it was a propaganda film by Salman Khan. And so I just said, what in the world is this? I come to Muslim country very happily to come here, enjoy a few days with the call of Adhan in Konya. Adhan was coming to my hotel room, but at the same time I opened television and here is an Indian propaganda film being recorded. I would like to show it to you. This is very sad part of it. So what it will do? It will kill Muslims. Don't have Hollywood or Bollywood. But Turkey does an amazing job with Artol movie and the world is watching. So if you keep building your industry, you will finally have an alternate to Hollywood. But if you're gonna keep buying the cheap Indian film, and India gives out its film very inexpensively. Why? Because they want to capture your market. They want to actually destroy your production. And that is the reason they are doing all of this.
Evet.
Onu gösterebilir mi bize?
So I arrive and at TRT1, I'm watching that.
Can you show me like this camera? So it's very fun. Yeah. Unfortunately. It's been with two days ago. She said she also saw it. I mean, çok tatsız diyor. Yine güzel şeylerle değinmiş şeyden bahsetti.
So the way you capture market is you dump your product with free. For example, Hollywood movie. So in Indonesia, the #1 channel of Indonesia wanted to show something which I produced. And they told me they will pay me a Hollywood rate. So I was very happy that, oh, I'm going to make some money here. So it turned out Hollywood rate is $900 per hour. I said, what? Average film in Hollywood is made in $100 million, average. It could be more or less. And they give them a $800 to show their people. Not to America, not to Western Europe, Japan or Australia or Korea. But for the rest of the world, $900 you can show on television in American Hollywood movie. Why? It's a marketing budget. So everybody will follow westernization. Everyone will love what they have. Everybody will buy those things. Everybody will talk like them. Everyone will behave like them. Everyone wants to be in LGBTQ. Everyone wants to take care of dogs more than the human being. All these things are cultural messages. That's what India is trying to copy. They want to copy Hollywood in conquering Muslims. And Muslim will be lost if they go for it. And those channels who are showing these things, they are traitors of Turkey because it will hurt Turkey's film industry.
In that WhatsApp, there is this emoji, the hand gesture. So it became like circulated so all around the world that now that people want to say Ami, and it is showing to use this image also when they want to thank anyone. Is again showing this emoji. So she's saying like, what do you think about this? Isn't it also another sort of like propaganda that they are using the emoji? But you know, there's this other gesture where this one is.
When Hindus go in front of their gods, that's what they do. This is they do as a part of worship. And adopting other people's culture is the beginning of adopting their ideologies, that everything is okay. What is Hinduism? Everything is okay. So if Turkey, everything is okay, so which ayah in the Quran says everything is okay? So this is, I think, we as a Muslim will start losing when we allow knowingly our eyes, our ears to get this input. When that input devices get this nonsense, it gets into your head. It enters your heart, first as a dot of darkness, then it spreads until you lose yourself and your iman. May Allah save us all from it. Every moment Muslims is going around, they are doing dhikr. Why do we dhikr? We want to surround ourselves with Allah's name. So when we follow His path, we are following the right path. But we surround ourselves with these images and ideals and idols of whether it's Hollywood or Bollywood, that is going to be the Qibla.
So the last question is, as we have been talking, so many different Muslim countries are now facing a genocide. From Africa to Asia, we have mentioned Palestine, we have mentioned Balochistan, we have mentioned India, we have mentioned like Central Africa. And she said, until which point this will like continue like this? What should we do? What should Muslims do so that we will change this fate that we are on?
First thing we need to understand, what is happening properly. What is happening is it's a Muslim struggle for freedom, justice and Islam. It's a positive struggle. There's nothing negative about it. And all Muslim Ummah need to be in support of his struggle for freedom, justice and Islam. This is a prophetic struggle. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He sent prophet after prophet, all the prophets, for one purpose in Surah Al-Hadid. the يقوم الناس بالقسط, to help people establish justice, fairness, and equity. That's the Prophet's job. When Prophets are gone, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in his last khutbah asked Muslims at Arafat, did I fulfill my responsibility? And Muslims say, yes, Ya Rasulullah. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam looked up, say, Allahumma shahid. Oh Allah, be my witness. Oh Allah, be my witness. And that is the reason when Muslims do tawaf of Kaaba, they say, Labbaik, Allahumma labbaik. Which means, I'm at your service, Ya Rab. I'm at your service, Ya Rab. Because Rasulullah told them that now it is your responsibility, those who are present, they carry out to other people. So when we say Labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, we're saying, I am available, Allah, I am here at your service. Where is that service? That service is the mission of the Prophets. So Palestinians are struggling for freedom, justice, and Islam. Uyghurs are struggling for freedom, justice, and Islam. Kashmiris are struggling for freedom, justice, and Islam. If Palestinians says we don't want freedom, we will live the way you want, Israel will say, oh no, you don't have to pray 5 times. Go ahead and pray 10 times a day. Maybe you should stay in Sajda all your life. They have no problem with that. Kashmiris, Indians will not have a problem with Kashmiris, but Kashmiris want freedom, they want justice, and they want Islam. Same thing with the Uyghur people. They are looking for, I have people in Eastern Pakistan have told me, what can you do to help us? So it's a positive struggle. It's an honorable struggle. This is a struggle in which all prophets were engaged in. Now Allah will decide which prophet is going to be successful in this world or not, but all of them were successful. Same thing, you and I are inshallah going to be successful, just following the path. Victory we don't control because we are not God. Allah decides when and where in the earth He will show you. But He guarantees that those who will strive on my path, I will guide them and I will give them real success, Fawzul Azim. And Fawzul Azim, He described that He will forgive your shortcomings, place you in Jannah, and give you the best possible houses in the everlasting world. And then He said, ذَلِكَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. That is the real success. And then in 3 words, told Muslims with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the other thing which you love so much, نَصْرٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ فَتْحٌ قَرِيبٌ. Yes, Allah will give you that too. So 2 verses for real success and 4 or 5 words for the success in this dunya. So that perspective is important. I am here, I am gone. If we zoom out, this whole earth with 8 billion people are not even a dot in our galaxy. Then there are hundreds and thousands of galaxies in the universe. Allah controls all of that. My job and your job is we stay on the path. Sirat al-Mustaqim. That is, stand for justice, fairness, and equity. Support those honorable struggles for freedom, justice, and Islam. That's all it is. Otherwise, who cares? Rest, everything can come and go and happen, and rest is rest. So Muslims get depressed and get worrisome. Some leave faith because of the pressure. Allah controls the world, we don't. Our job is very little, and we'll make mistake in that job. It says, Astaghfirullah Rabbi min kulli dhanbin wa atubu ilayh, and everything is clear. It's very easy job, alhamdulillah. So people should not get depressed because of what is happening in the world. We need to see bigger picture. All Muslim countries were slave until 1940s, 50s. Muslim countries became free. Now Muslims are striving for true freedoms. And that's a positive struggle too.